What if I told you that one of the most famous prophets in modern history saw something about America that most people still do not understand? What if his words were never meant to terrify people, but to wake them up? Tonight, we are talking about the mysterious predictions of Edgar Cayce. Many people call him the sleeping prophet because he gave thousands of readings while in a trance. But here is the shocking part most people miss. His prophecy about America was not simply about disaster, it was about transformation. And if you listen closely tonight, you may realize that some of these things are already happening. So stay with me, because this story may change how you see the future. Now let us begin. Many people think prophecy is about predicting doom, but sometimes it is about warning people so they can change their path. When Edgar Cayce spoke about America, he was not just talking about a country, but about a spiritual experiment. He believed that America was a place where humanity would learn lessons about power and responsibility. According to Cayce, civilizations rise when they follow truth and fall when they forget it. This simple idea is at the center of his prophecies about the future. He warned that every nation eventually faces a moment of testing. That moment comes when people must choose between greed and conscience. Many believe America is now moving through that exact moment. But the prophecy is not just about politics or economics, it is about the human spirit. Cayce said that true change always begins with individuals. He believed the future is not fixed, but shaped by human choices. This is what makes his prophecies so different from others. They are not final verdicts, but warnings and possibilities. One of his most discussed predictions involved natural changes on Earth. He spoke about Earth changes that could shift coastlines and alter geography. Many people heard this and immediately thought of catastrophe, but Cayce said these events were part of a larger cycle in nature. Just like seasons change, civilizations also move through cycles. He believed humanity was entering a new era of awareness. In this new era, old systems would begin to break down. People would start questioning authorities they once trusted without doubt. Information would spread faster than ever before, and ordinary people would begin seeking truth for themselves. Sound familiar? Cayce also spoke about a spiritual awakening that would emerge in America. He believed many people would start looking beyond traditional religion. They would seek a direct connection with the divine. This would create confusion for some, but freedom for others, because when people start thinking for themselves, old structures shake. This is why many of his words sound so relevant today. He warned that technology would grow faster than human wisdom, and when that happens, society can become unbalanced. People may have more information, but less understanding. This is one of the great challenges of modern times. Cayce said the solution was simple but difficult. Humanity must develop inner character. Without moral foundation, power becomes dangerous. This was one of his biggest warnings for America. He said the greatest test would not come from enemies outside the country. The real test would come from within, from the values people choose to live by, from how they treat each other, from how they use their power. Cayce believed every generation must decide what kind of world it wants to build, and sometimes that decision comes during times of chaos, because chaos has a strange way of revealing truth. When everything is stable, people rarely question the system, but when things begin to shake, people start asking deep questions, and that is when transformation becomes possible. According to Cayce, crisis often precedes awakening. He said many people would experience a personal search for meaning. They would begin asking questions about purpose and destiny. This inner search would spread quietly across society. Some would call it spiritual awakening, others would call it confusion, but Cayce saw it as evolution. He believed humanity was gradually moving to a higher level of consciousness. However, he warned that this process would not be easy. Old systems do not collapse without resistance. Powerful interests always try to hold on to control. This creates tension in society, and sometimes that tension can feel like darkness. But Cayce said darkness often appears just before dawn. He believed America had a unique role in this transition, not as a perfect nation, but as a testing ground for ideas. Ideas about freedom,
ideas about individual responsibility, ideas about spiritual growth. If these ideas succeed, they can inspire the world.
If they fail, the lessons will still be learned. This is why Cayce said the future is never guaranteed. It depends on the choices of people. Every day, people are writing the next chapter of history. Most of them do not even realize it. He also spoke about the power of thought. Cayce believed human thoughts shape reality more than people understand. Negative thinking can create fear and division. Positive thinking can create hope and solutions. This is why he encouraged people to develop inner discipline, because the world outside reflects the world inside. This idea may sound simple, but it is very powerful. If millions of people change their mindset, society can change rapidly. Cayce believed this shift was already beginning, but he also said many people would resist it. Change makes people uncomfortable, even when change is necessary. This is one reason history moves in waves. Progress is often followed by pushback, and then a new balance emerges. Cayce saw the future as a series of turning points. Each turning point gives humanity a choice: fear or courage, selfishness or compassion, control or freedom. These choices determine the direction of civilization. Many people search his prophecies for exact dates, but Cayce rarely focused on dates. He focused on principles, because principles guide action, and action shapes the future. He believed every person has a role in this story. Even small actions can create large effects. Kindness can spread, just like fear can spread. This is why individual character matters. Cayce said the greatest revolution is a revolution of consciousness. When people see the world differently, they act differently. And when they act differently, society changes. This is the real power behind his prophecies. They are not just about events, they are about awakening human potential. He believed every crisis contains a hidden opportunity. The question is whether people will see it, or whether they will be too distracted by fear. Fear can paralyze people, but hope can mobilize them. This is why Cayce always encouraged balance. He said people should face reality without losing faith, because faith is what makes change possible. And without hope, societies collapse from within. So when people ask what Cayce predicted for America, the answer is complex. He predicted challenges, he predicted change, but he also predicted opportunity. The opportunity for a new kind of civilization, one based on wisdom rather than pure power, one based on cooperation rather than constant conflict. This is the part of his prophecy many people ignore, because positive change requires responsibility, and responsibility is not always popular. Yet Cayce believed humanity was capable of great things. He said every person carries a spark of the divine. When people recognize that spark in themselves and others, everything changes. Conflict begins to fade, understanding begins to grow, and new possibilities emerge. This is the true message hidden in his prophecies. The future is not written in stone, it is written by human choices. Every day is a chance to move in a better direction. Every decision shapes the road ahead. This is why his message still matters today, because we are still making those choices, and history is still being written. The question is simple but powerful. What kind of future do we want to create? Fear can build walls, but wisdom can build bridges. Cayce believed the choice between those two paths belongs to us, and that choice will shape the destiny of nations. The real prophecy of Edgar Cayce was never about destroying America. It was about awakening the people who live there. It was about reminding humanity that the future is created by choices. So the question is not what will happen next. The question is what we will do next. If this video opened your mind even a little, then you are already part of the awakening. Like this video if you found it thought-provoking. Share it with someone who loves mysteries and hidden truths. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, because the next discovery might change how you see the world.